Freeman. All right. Is that working? Use tubes. That's funny. It says we're live, but it also says we're at the Valkyrie Big X Marathon.
Surely there's a way to fix that.
Does it have us?
Watching now.
Oh, it really is. How about that?
Big Axe Marathon. Wonder if we
Can I edit this? Got an upside down picture. That's fantastic. Alright, let's just roll with it. You want to roll with it? Or do you want me to fix it? What do you think?
Boy, this is not even showing me you're live.
Are you?
Oh yeah.
Click on it.
Okay, we'll go with it.
We'll roll with it. Okay. So we were going to start a podcast hours ago. And, you know, squirrel. So here we are. It's almost 9:30. And we're just now starting the podcast. And we got a couple things that we couldn't figure out. And we're no longer interested enough to try to figure out. So we're just going to roll with it.
So this whole deal that you're looking at is a bunch of testings and Frankenstein stuff that we put together. And,
To say the very least.
so if you're watching this, I imagine you can bring up the comments on YouTube, yeah?
You know, it's
Well, actually,
I bet you there's a way.
we'd have to share this on the page for people to get notified.
Okay, so shall we?
We shall. So yeah, we're just having a blast over here, trying to figure it all out. When you think you got it all, I think you got to go right here first, right?
I like it.
Shortcuts. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing.
So, yeah, we're here at Big's Axe. Not throwing any axes right now, but we are live. So tune in to this podcast.
Disregard the fact that we have the title wrong.
Yes, the title is part of that Frankenstein deal there that we got. But check out our new our logo there at the bottom. You like that? You like that? Shout out to Amber. She hooked it up. And shout out to Loops. She hooked it up with the taking off the block and stuff. So those of you guys that do graphic designs know what I'm talking about.
We put in a little pocket.
They know our secret now.
Yes, it's a secret. Don't try this at home.
So we're just fooling around with the whole deal here, and I've got to remember to look at the camera because
There's a camera right there.
Yeah, you there.
What are you doing?
So what you're looking at on the screen is a bunch of like slideshow pictures. It's probably like 9 pictures or so, but
From the Bullseye Beers and Bullseyes tournament up in Murfreesboro. Shout out to Lucas Johnson and Jenna Johnson for hosting that event.
yep. That was a well-ran tournament, I think it was. I didn't think I saw any issues or whatever. There might have been something where the app was screwing up or whatever, but
Yeah, Lucas said he had a little bit of trouble on Saturday. It didn't display the B bracket, so I guess they
yeah, I
figured
saw that
out.
because I tried to tune in and try to see who all was left in the B bracket or who all was, you know what I mean, was traveling. I mean, it just wasn't appearing. So I hit up Melody and asked her what the deal was, and she kind of gave me the 411, kept me updated. So, yeah, it was a well-ran tournament. The last couple of tournaments actually that we've been to, the Yeatonheim Ironside tournament.
Yeatonheim Ironsides in Iowa.
Yeah, and
That was a fantastic
Des Moines,
game.
Iowa. So there's been a lot that has happened since
the last
our last episode.
Yeah, we're not very regular.
So I wonder if you can pull up the YouTubes, see if we got anybody commenting on there.
Let's go see.
Not yet.
We're the only one watching it. Is that narcissistic?
So yeah, like I said, a lot has happened. God, I can't even remember the last time we hopped on. So this is essentially what the podcast is supposed to be, and we're actually in a different setting right now. We do have a set studio that we just decided not to go. We decided just to be here at the shop, which is fine and dandy.
It's easier to stream from the shop. The internet at the studio,
Yes.
is not so swift.
So, just throwing some random stuff out there. Congratulations to Stacy, by the way.
Stacey Christiansen, our wayward member in Ohio. Oh, there's a camera over there. Yeah.
Squirrel.
Squirrel. Has secured a world's bid for knife throwing,
Yeah.
which is no surprise to anybody who's taken the L from Stacy.
He's doing a fantastic job throwing knives. I mean, he's just well concentrated. He's actually invested a lot of time in his craft of throwing knives. He earned his bid at the Yeatonheim, actually. Speaking of the
Yes, sir.
Yeatonheim, West Des Moines, Iowa. What did he place? Like 7th place or
7th place, but everybody that was above him had already secured a bid.
Jeez. And he's raised a lot of eyebrows even. I mean, people are looking at him and watching him throw and giving him compliments left and right. And so shout out to you, Stacy, who's also part of the Biggs Axe team.
We're going to try to drag Stacy down to Knifetoberfest at Old Town Cutlery.
Yes.
They're the OG sponsor of Big Zach's team.
So funny about it, I had so those of you that don't know, I'm one of the owners of Biggs Axe Throwing. My wife's the other one. So I actually had a customer reach out to us on Facebook and was like, hey, I'm so-and-so. I just recently moved here to Dalton. I was curious to know when you guys are hosting the Knifetoberfest. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. So I gave her the information as to, what the event is, where it's at, and stuff like that. But those of you guys that don't know what the Knifetoberfest is and are kind of local or, want to come down to the event, it's an annual event that Old Town Cutlery hosts down in Cumming, Georgia.
Yep.
And so what are some, you list some of the things that they do out there.
They have makers that come in and they give demonstrations on how to forge knives and axes and how to finish out the handles, and they usually have a few of the bushcraft folks out demonstrating some of their tools and techniques. And then of course we have 2 targets set up. One target, or I guess one set of targets,
Yes.
is for axes, and then the other target is for knives. Yep.
So we'll be out there, and then they have, I guess, some food vendors and stuff like that.
Yes,
but,
there's always food vendors there.
yeah, so it's an every year event. This will be the
Some would call that annual.
3rd or 4th or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna be out there teaching everybody how to throw axes and knives. And we're just gonna have a blast. So if you're around the area in October, it's October the 8th to be exact.
8th.
It's a
Yep.
Saturday.
Saturday.
Start time is 10 o'clock in the morning, and it'll run until about 3 in the afternoon. So it's a small portion of the day. You can still wake up in the morning, go have breakfast, come out and enjoy the day, get some lunch out there, and then learn how to throw, learn how to forge.
Every year that we've been out there, Lee always does fantastic raffles.
Yeah, so they do free raffles every 30 minutes. All you got to do is go up there and get a ticket.
Yep.
And every 30 minutes, there's got some cool swag bags. They raffle off $600 axe. Isn't that what you won?
That is exactly what I want.
What was the price on that? Do you know?
It was around $600.
It was more than that, if I'm not mistaken.
And yes, for those who are curious, we did send
it. You there? It's a fantastic axe. But I mean, they do all
kinds
kinds.
Next time.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea. So shout out to Old Town Cutlery, as they're one of the sponsors for the Biggs team.
Lee and Melissa, right?
Yes, Lee and Melissa, and all of the helpers, some would say minions, that work at the Old Town Cutlery, who do a fantastic job at, essentially making our blades sharp, making them look pretty, making the handles look pretty. I mean, they do a fantastic job at helping Lee and Melissa out. So shout out to those guys as well. One of them is the knife nerd, if I'm not mistaken.
I guess he had a jersey.
So let's see. So that's the Knifetoberfest is going on in Cumming, Georgia, October the 8th at 10 o'clock. Be there or be square.
They also teach classes on making knives.
I have a feeling we've talked about this, but if we didn't,
Well, we'll talk about it again.
we'll always talk about it. We always do, and you can hear everybody. When I go to these tournaments and stuff, I'm always wearing my knife and stuff.
Me too.
Fun fact. You may or may not see somebody you may know on ESPN refereeing, an official head judge for WKTL, World Knife Throwing League. And there's a few times where you might see this thing on TV. So
Nice. I too have had knives on ESPN.
that's true.
In the first televised
US
US
Open.
Open for the World Knife Throwing League. My buddy Travis Blank had broke one of his knives and needed to borrow some. So I loaned him 3 of my knives and wrote my name on them so that I could get my knives on ESPN, because I don't throw well enough to get on ESPN.
Yet.
But
you are-
Stacey might get there.
Well, Stacy has a really good chance of getting there. And the people who've earned their bid prior to him have given him shout outs and saying, like, dude, you're doing a pretty good job. So Stacy, if you're watching, you're doing a good job. Don't stop throwing knives. Keep it up. So I was going somewhere with this. Anyways, so that's the Knifetoberfest event. Come on out, and so we'll move on to the next deal.
My microphone stopped working.
That's fine. I got one right here.
Don't we always carry a spare?
Maybe we can use this one.
Not sure what's up with that. See, Frankenstein. I'll just turn it off.
So we saw a UFO.
We did. See, UFO. It sounds like a setup for a joke, and if you know Roger, you would expect a setup for a joke, but it really isn't. We had driven, 14 hours to get to Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah.
And we were heading from the venue back to the hotel, or
Yeah. So we drove in. We went to the venue, Ironside to be exact, and they were doing a I forget what the deal was, what they were doing, but it was fun. They were throwing saw blades. They were throwing machetes or
I forget what they called it, but every station had a different implement to stick in the board. And there were no warm-ups, so everybody had to throw them cold.
So they had darts. I think they had like cards or something.
I think they used that like in the championship round. I never threw the
They
cards.
threw a stop sign.
Threw a stop sign.
So that's pretty
That was
badass.
blank.
And then, if I'm not mistaken, I think the
We threw
winner
machetes.
got to throw a spear or
Spear.
something. Yeah. That's
Yeah, if you've never
badass.
been to Ironside, you have to go to Ironsides if you get out.
That's
that
probably
way. That's the coolest venue I've ever been in.
Yes.
And I've been in some cool venues.
So, so we went to the venue. We did that little partake in the event. They also did trivia.
We did some trivia.
So we didn't win, but we tried. I wonder what place we got. I think we didn't get top 3, if I'm not
We
mistaken.
did not get top 3.
We probably got top 4. So we'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
But anyways, we did that and we left the venue, so it was probably 11:30 or so, give or take. We leave the venue.
It was late, but we left it. What time in the morning did we leave?
Shit, I don't remember.
6, 7?
Sure, that sounds good.
Sounds good.
So we did that. We left the venue and we were taking Stacy. Man, what do you know?
In the It's a Small World category.
And we were taking Stacy back to his hotel room with Holly and the kids. And so, it was probably a 10-minute drive from the venue or so.
Not even.
And so we were en route to that hotel, and So the backstory on the way up to Iowa.
Oh, you can't tell them the backstory, then they'll think we made it up in our heads.
Well, so
And now we got to tell you.
now we made it up in our heads. So we really didn't though. So you can look it up. So we're driving down to take Stacy back to his hotel room, and Ray's like, "Hey, Raj, look," and I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and he, I put my phone down to see what he's talking about, and he's like, "Yeah, look, there's you a UFO," and I kind of look up and like, holy shit, dude, you're fucking right. That is a fucking UFO. And of course, he might have thought I was joking with him, but I thought he was joking with me.
What? I mean, I knew there was something odd about it because it just didn't move like an air. I've been around airplanes my whole life.
Yeah.
Planes move fast.
Yeah.
This thing wasn't moving fast, and
it
with
was,
the windows down. It wasn't a helicopter.
It was hovering extremely
whatever
slow.
it was abnormal.
So he's driving. He's more focused on the roads and the lights and the stops and all that, while I'm looking up and I'm more focused in the sky. So I like to do that a lot. I like to look up, and try to see if I can find a UFO or something going on in the sky and stuff. So I did that, and while he pointed it out and stuff, I was like, "Holy crap, dude! That is a UFO." I mean, it was a disc-shaped deal. It had lights underneath on the bottom all around the disc, and it had like a centerpiece right in the center, and that was kind of illuminated. I mean, it was just hovering very, very slow. I mean, and it wasn't a plane. A plane is more, with the wings and the tail and stuff like that, and it has like 3 lights at most.
I mean,
4.
you saw a disc. That's really all the description that is required.
It was wild, and I was like, "Yo, Stacy," he's in the back seat, like, "Yo, I mean, do you see this?" I mean, he's like, "Oh yeah, it does look like a UFO." Sadly, we didn't get out and take photos or videos or anything. I mean,
we've been driving.
We're trying to get there to
hours. Lollygagged at the venue for a couple hours. It was time to go to bed.
But it was a blast. Can you pull up a YouTube real quick? I wonder if there's anybody tuned in. All right, so we got 100 people watching. Anyways,
all right.
So yeah, we saw a UFO. It was badass. I wish I would have hopped out and ran up to it and see if it would have abducted me. That would have been a blast. Probably wouldn't have been here to tell the story, but who knows, right? So what do you think? I mean, do you believe in UFOs and aliens and stuff like that? I mean, if not,
now that I've seen one,
explain the government releasing out the information about how UFOs are real. Then, did you ever hear about that?
Yeah. So
it's weird how they release that information and like nobody paid attention. Yeah. So if you don't believe us, look it up. The government, no shit, released information saying that the UFOs and shit like that is real, but it's just been a hush mode. Like nobody's known about that. So every time I bring it up, someone's like, "Really?" Yeah, pull it up on Google or something and show you like it's real. The government really brought it up. So there's like different departments of like aerial phenomenon and stuff like that that are actually looking into this stuff.
And there's some things they just have not been able to explain. Going all the way back to the, 60s or 70s, whenever they were doing Project Blue Book through the Air Force.
Yeah.
They debunked most of them, but there were some that they were like, I'll tell you.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, you see discs or you see pill-shaped UFOs or whatever, and you see all kinds. They're dropping into the water at like 0.5 seconds or whatever, and then just shooting right back up and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Well, sometimes you gotta get a drink.
What's that?
Sometimes you gotta get a drink.
Yeah.
You're thirsty. You're thirsty.
I'm going in.
Going in hot.
So we just want to share that information with you guys. We did see a UFO in West Des Moines, Iowa. Look it up. There's a guy on there. I forget his name.
Yeah. So a couple of days after we got home, I saw a video from one of the news affiliates in Des Moines that a guy that had been on one of the roads that we were on. It wasn't the road that we were on when we
saw it. Yeah.
But it was one of the roads that we had turned onto from the road where we seen it, and he had actually stopped and taken a video of it. So I was like, wow, well, that's some validation.
Yeah, so he shared it with me, and I checked it out. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. I'm glad we weren't the only ones, or walking around looking crazy or something. Yeah, well, and it's published and stuff, so somebody else saw it. So what I did was I actually shared it on my Facebook page, and just for like when those memories and stuff come up, like, hey, look, I did see a UFO, So it's real. Look it up. West Des Moines, Iowa.
That's a
UFO.
good thing, you know, when we go to axe tournaments, we always travel with a buddy, so we weren't abducted. So
Yes.
none of those nightmare stories.
This is true. So, I mean, there's just a lot to talk about.
It was so if you've seen the pictures off on the side, the one with the bracelet is Rod sporting his Lone Star Chop Shop
Lone Star.
bracelet from the Worlds out in Dallas
I
last
still
year.
got it right here. So this was, so fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
This was actually Worlds from 2020, believe it or not.
I do believe it.
Aaron was going around giving people bracelets and stuff, and I was like, "Hey man, can I get one of those bracelets?" Like, "Oh yeah." He's a real cool guy. Shout out to this guy. He's also a vet, by
Yes,
the way.
sir.
He's an Army vet. So yeah, he hooked it up with a bracelet, and actually he gave my wife one. And so my wife didn't wear hers until she kept it up, you know, saved. I wore mine for quite a while, and unfortunately mine ended up ripping. And I probably wore it for a year and a half or so, probably longer than that, to be honest. It probably recently broke, like a month and a half, 2 months ago.
I believe you.
So I went and got this other one, and so I wear it when I'm throwing axes and stuff. I mean, it gives me good luck.
It's
So,
a good luck charm.
shout out to Lone Star Chop Shop, who are no longer with us, unfortunately. But I
was a
have
cool
heard
venue.
It was a really cool venue. But I think I heard something about they're trying to make a comeback.
That'd be fantastic.
I think I heard something about that. So if they do, crossing fingers, let us know. But if not, I mean, you guys did a fantastic job, I believe, for Worlds. I mean, you guys were one of the 4 venues that hosted Worlds for 2021. So that was a blast. But yeah, so that's one of the pictures that Ray took of me while I'm sitting there, you know, watching the game stuff. He looked down and snapped a picture of my bracelet. Fun fact also about this bracelet. So I was talking about U.S. Open of WKTL. I was after I got done reffing that, I was, you know, packing up stuff and getting ready to head out.
Right.
Saw this gentleman there, and he had his luggage and stuff, and I saw him all throughout the tournament, and I finally decided to stop and talk to him. I was like, "Hey man, like, you know, I saw you all throughout the tournament, like, you know, what's your name and stuff, you know?" And his name is Lee, apparently, if I'm not mistaken. But I was like, "Oh, hi, I'm Roger. I'm so and so. You know, got to going and stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, so I just saw you, you know, and you know, all over the tournament and stuff in the venue." I was like, "I just didn't know who you were. What discipline did you throw in and stuff?" He's like, "I actually didn't throw." I was like, "You didn't throw?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Oh, were you judging?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Okay."
Just here to watch.
Share the story. He's like, so I'm actually from Texas. I came up here and watched my buddies throw. I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, "You flew all the way out from Texas, didn't have a discipline to throw in, just to support your friends." He was like, "Yeah." It's like, dude, that felt so warming and like butterflies and stuff. I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." So we got to talking, and actually, he's also a vet. He's a Marine Corps vet. So
nice.
Well, he asked me how I got into this sport and stuff, so I laid it on him onto how I did. If I did not explain how I got into the sport, that'll be for another time. Anyways, I explained to him about the military and, you know, Marine stuff, and after I got done, he was like, "So, I'm also a Marine Corps vet too." I was like, "Hell yeah, dude!" So we got to talking and stuff, and so he's a relatively new thrower. And he explained the fact that he's out of Texas, and I was like, "Oh, cool. What part of Texas?" He's like, "Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas." I was like, "Yeah. What venue do you throw out of?" He's like, "Well, I did throw out of Lone Star Chop Shop." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "But you know, it's no longer, you know, with us, and so we throw out of Drenger." I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." I was like, "Well, hey, look at this," and I looked at and I showed him this bracelet, which he's a new thrower, so he wouldn't have known 2020. You know, this bracelet. So when I started showing him, he was like, "Well, I'll be damned." I was like, "Yeah, man, it's a small world, man." And so yeah, that just blew my mind how somebody in the community who's relatively new decided to leave their home state and travel. I don't know how many hours that is. I'd imagine more than 10 in a car. So I'd imagine
At least.
Yeah, 3 or 4 hours on a plane. Just to go watch his buddies throw. at the U.S. Open. So that just shows what kind of community the axe throwing community is. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I really
That's
loved
awesome.
it. So yeah, we're constantly meeting new people, and if I don't know you and you're watching this, or if Ray doesn't know you, Ray's never met a stranger, so and he's usually the guy that introduces me to a lot of people, because I'm usually just in my zone, or I'm focusing on something else or whatever. I've got so many different tabs, and Ray does too, but he's the more talkative type person, seems like.
It's true. I am.
Shout out to Yoshi, by the way.
Yoshi, upside down Yoshi.
Yes. So yeah, this is just a quick run. This is not what we had intended to do. It kind of was, but not really. We had a lot more in mind. So
We get caught up trying to set it up and do new stuff that, we run out of time. Then we have to just turn it on and go.
yeah,
But I feel like every time we do it, we improve something in the process.
this is true. Oh, they're playing bags.
Who they?
Bo. He's out of Calhoun area, maybe Calhoun, Georgia, or something like that. Rome, maybe. But yeah, he just went
We're throwing
live.
bags right now.
Yeah, I'm assuming this
10
is.
o'clock on a Monday.
I know.
Well, I guess we need to shut down this podcast so we can throw an axe.
Yeah. All right. So this is it.
We'll try not to stay away so long next time.
Yeah. So we're gonna try to do better and try to give you guys some more podcast episodes and keep you updated on what's going on in the axe throwing world and also in the military world, I guess, since we're two vets. We do actually have a lot of vets on here who have added us recently.
Yes.
And we actually have a lot of people who are neither axe throwers nor vets who are on here watching us. So shout out to you guys. Stay tuned. Keep watching. Let us know what you'd like for us to talk about, what you'd like to hear. I'm pretty sure we can figure something out and talk about it. I guess until then, so next Sunday, or Saturday and Sunday.
Next Saturday and Sunday, we're doing marathons here at Biggs.
Yes, we will be streaming, yes.
It is my intention to stream.
So we'll probably be streaming Big Axe on Saturday. I got tentative time is like 9:30 or so, and then Hatchet will be about 9:30 on Sunday. So get on here, share with your friends. If you're curious and want to know about how axe throwing is, if you're local, come on out. We'll show you. We'll have,
Come on out.
hang out.
Throw an axe.
Yeah. That's all I got for right now, I guess. Oh, shout out to Stacy again. Congratulations on baby boy.
revealed today. I meant to, so I was going to add that as a,
That's really what I meant to say. Congratulations to Stacy. Until we started going on world's bids and stuff, and
nice.
yeah. So
nice.
congratulations 2 times.
And
for
Holly,
you.
Stacy
and
and
Holly.
Holly.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, Stacy was the one that proposed to Holly at the 2021 U.S. Open in
Yes.
Atlanta.
Yeah. Yep. This is true. There's photos that show proof.
Yep.
In fact. All right, y'all. It's getting late. We'll see you guys next time. 2 vets on R&R. Axon.
Axon.